Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. Today is Monday, the 6th day of May. It's National Nurses Day. It is National Beverage Day. It is Melanoma Monday. What is that? I don't know. And it's also National Crepe Suzette Day. Crepe Suzette. Have you ever had crepe Suzette?
I don't know.
If you know any crepes named Suzette,
crepes.
maybe it's her day today, too. That sounds interesting. I'd like to try that today. It's also a Movie Star Monday. I'm excited to visit with this young man. His name is Lester Greene. He's an actor. He's also a producer. And he's done some rap music in the past, and he's an author. So we're going to chat with him about all those things. He was born in Germany, raised in Texas, and now he's got a new book out called Act Like You Love Yourself. So I'm excited to visit with Mr. Lester Greene coming up later on the program. Thanks for listening to this Movie Star Monday edition of the John and Heidi Show.
If you have a drug problem, don't let it ruin your life. You can be in treatment as soon as tomorrow, and you can start to get clean in as little as 7 days. Take the first step to get drugs out of your life at timeforrehab.com. Your insurance may cover everything, so you really have nothing to lose. Timeforrehab.com. Start your new life. You deserve it. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com, a new study by the Associated Press. Some people refer to them as the AP. Have you ever heard of that before?
I have.
That's them. They found that cow gas coming from the tailpipe area is contributing to global warming, but not as bad as cow gas coming out of the mouth, burping. So cow burps are actually worse than coming out the other side. So I'm not sure why that is exactly, but for those of you who are concerned, I have a link to that story in the show notes at johnandheidishow.com.
The average household has thousands of dollars in credit card debt. If you find yourself in that position and you're making minimum payments, you could be in debt for a long time. Make sure you have the very best card with the very best rates at bettercreditcards.net. We work with different banks and different credit card companies who put out their best offers to earn your business. See if we can help you get a better credit card at bettercreditcards.net, bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net.
And this is Your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by timeforrehab.com. Every day we talk about people who do dumb things under the influence. And if you know somebody that has an issue with that, maybe that'd be a good plan to, help them get some help, like this guy needs. A Vermont man arrested wearing a shirt that says periodic drinker while he was intoxicated. And he was charged with that and many, many other things. He was operating erratically on the interstate. He was reported in a 2015 Hyundai Sonata, weaving from lane to lane, tailgating, then passing people in the breakdown lane. Short time later, a trooper actually pulled this person over and saw firsthand what was going on, actually. The vehicle had struck two other vehicles between two different communities, Concord and Plymouth. Heavy damage to both vehicles. Just kept driving anyway. Drove away from the scene. 26-year-old Robert Harris was driving. He was put through a field sobriety test, which he did not pass. Charged with DWI. Also conduct after an incident. Conduct after an accident. Reckless driving. Resisting arrest or detention for fighting with the officer during the booking process. So a big laundry list of bad things because he was drunk as a skunk and thought, I can drive. Don't do that. If you've been drinking, get a ride. Every time. All the time. Just a bad plan.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. Film critics are accusing Daniel Craig of ruining the James Bond series by continuously whining about the role and coming off as unintelligent while on screen.
Okay.
And there's a story a few weeks back about how James Bond technically consumes an average of 6 drinks per film. Did you see that? So they're saying
I've seen James Bond movies, and that's typically...
He drinks 6 drinks per episode, per film, apparently. And some critics are saying that Daniel Craig is the worst James Bond ever.
Okay. I haven't seen a James Bond movie for so many years, so I really have... I couldn't tell you.
You're not going to chime in with your advice on this?
I think
Yeah.
Pierce Brosnan was probably the last James Bond that I saw. So that's been quite a few James Bonds ago, I think.
I think I saw Sean Connery. There have been others since then?
There have,
kidding.
in fact.
I'm just teasing. This has been Big Screen, Little Screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com.
If you can't have a drink without it leading to another drink and another drink, maybe it's time to get help. There are programs designed to help take alcohol out of your life for good at TimeForRehab.com. Don't let a drinking problem spill over into other areas of your life. Get help to quit drinking and start living the life you truly deserve at TimeForRehab.com. Your insurance may cover everything. Learn more at TimeForRehab.com. That's TimeForRehab.com.
Now, your scoop of the day brought to you by BetterCreditCards.net. An Indian woman was rushed to the hospital after crying uncontrollably when she was watching The Avengers in India. So, apparently, something happened while watching that movie that she just broke down, and they had to take her to the hospital.
Wow.
I'm not exactly sure what that was, but I had the exact same response last time I had to go to the movies with my wife. We watched a chick flick, and I cried all the way through it. It was The Notebook.
I don't go to chick flicks.
We went to
You
The Notebook
drugged me
together.
to that.
I was the only man in the theater, and I cried louder than everybody else in the theater. So you didn't rush me to the hospital, I noticed. Oh, by the way, revised numbers. You okay over there?
And that was not the last time. That was like
15 years ago.
years ago.
It's been a while. I'll never forget.
The other day, I was at the theater watching The Notebook.
I just remember it wasn't maybe, it was probably 12 years ago. But I remember going into the theater with you and your friend. You guys wanted to go to this movie.
I did not want to go to this movie.
So you guys convinced me to go to this movie. I walk in, and I'm not even kidding. I was the only man in the theater.
Yes.
And then I was crying, so then I lost all my man points. They're like, "Ooh, what a manly man!" I'm like, my grandmother had Alzheimer's, so that movie really hit home. And now I've got another grandmother with Alzheimer's, so it was a tough movie. I'm watching that, just going, "Oh, this was such a great story." And all the other ladies are like, "Hey, you need a Kleenex there, big burly
all
man?
All right, big boy.
You gonna be all right? You want to talk about it?" So, speaking of the Avengers, let's get back to that manly subject here. Revised numbers show that the Endgame brought in about $1.2 billion during the opening weekend. So, that was not last weekend, or not this weekend, it was last weekend. So, Elvis Costello performed with members of Spinal Tap during a special screening of Spinal Tap at the Tribeca Film Festival.
Really? Elvis Costello?
That would have been kind of cool, I think.
I would have liked to have seen that, I think.
Heidi, I wonder if they turned it up to 11. For those of you that don't know what that means, that's something to do with Spinal Tap. Well, I don't know if you need to see it, but it has to do with Spinal Tap. Adele was spotted kissing a mystery man who looks a lot like her ex-husband in New York City.
Okay.
Maybe it was her ex-husband.
Looks like her ex-husband, or...
I don't know. Maybe
she's got a type.
Maybe it was. A bizarre story here. Says here, the average American worker makes 118 mistakes every year. So, Heidi, we all make mistakes, right? Mm-hmm. Well, on a recent episode of the BBC podcast, More or Less, Behind the Statistics, the narrator began by telling listeners that the episode was almost scrapped because of an error that was made in the middle of the episode. But instead, they decided to let people know that, hey, we all make mistakes. How about you listen and see if you can find it? We left it as is. Now, you see if you can spot the error and let us know what it was. Guess what the error was?
What was it?
They said... they were talking about the world's best golfers, and the host said, Tiger Woods is a very good golfer. He may even be better than Jack Nicholson. So,
oh, funny.
Jack Nicholson's an actor. It's Jack Nicklaus that you're thinking of.
That's adorable.
I think that's pretty cool. And I actually had a chance to meet Jack Nicklaus, and I asked him, "Do you get confused with Jack Nicholson?" He said, "All the time." He said, "I think it's humorous."
It's just a slip of the tongue.
Well, he said,
it's
"I
not
think
like they think he's him."
No. But there are people who get the two confused. He said, "I think it's humorous, but I don't think he does." So apparently, Jack Nicholson doesn't like being confused.
He was a golfer.
Yeah. So, what is your handicap anyway? What are you talking about? Leave me alone.
Personal question.
In New York City, a woman who scammed millionaires by pretending to be a German heiress has been found guilty and now faces prison time. That's not good. I wonder what she was doing. That doesn't sound like a good plan at all, whatever she was doing. And then the last story here, Heidi. Transportation officials in California responded to a stretch of highway where a semi spilled 30,000 pounds of frozen food. Can you imagine that? It's a lot of wasted food. I hope
That is
it
a lot of wasted food.
is somehow used for something good. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday.
Before you know it, Christmas will be here. Are you ready? If you plan to use a credit card while shopping, make sure you have the very best credit card for you. It's free to click around and see what we can do for you at bettercreditcards.net. We have options from many different banks and different credit card companies who put out their best offers to earn your business. See if we can help you get a better credit card at bettercreditcards.net. Bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We've got a guest joining us right now. We have Lester Greene. He is an author and a producer and a rapper and an actor and a bus driver. I love that you put that on the website, too. How you doing there?
Hey, how you doing, John? Thanks for having me.
Well, great to have you. Now, I got to ask about the one that didn't quite fit with everything else. The bus driver. What in the world does that mean?
Yeah, a lot of people ask me about that. Yeah, I'm a New York City bus driver. I've been driving buses for about 11 years now.
That's got to be kind of, to drive around New York City, even in a car, would be kind of scary. But to drive around in a bus, that's got to be really scary.
You're absolutely right. It is so dangerous. I don't know how I was able to last so long, but I'm getting ready to move to Atlanta, and so I'm going to be doing something else and pursuing my acting career, of course. So I won't be driving the bus anymore. So it's a bit scary just making this transition, but I'm excited.
Well, we're going to talk about your acting career. We're going to talk a little bit about your music here, and also we want to make sure we talk about your new book that's out. How long has the book been out?
Oh, the book has been out for about 5 months now. 5-6 months.
And what was it that made you decide it was time to write a book? How did you come to the conclusion that now is the time I need to get this book put out?
Well, it's funny because I've just been living for X amount of years now, and I have so much experience. And I'm thinking to myself, I could really put all this into a book. And so that's what I did. It wasn't so much that I just started writing from scratch. I had everything already in my head just from living through my experiences. And then I figured, let me just put it all together in a book.
And you've had a chance to work with some really fun people. I see we're friends on Facebook now, and I see some of the photos of the people you've worked with, 50 Cent and a bunch of big-name people that, you know, that's got to be exciting. Are those kind of things in the book, or is that not quite what the book is about?
Well, the book is not so much about that. The book is really, it's called Act Like You Love Yourself, and the book just really deals with you loving yourself and approaching life with that mentality. I think a lot of times people are just a little insecure about themselves, or they doubt themselves, and this book is just going to tell you or teach you how to approach life and acting at the same time.
Very nice. So now let's we'll come back to the book here in a bit. I have a link to the book in our show notes so people can find it, and we'll definitely talk about that again here in a moment. But let's talk about the acting, because that sounds like a really fun thing. You're going to be pursuing more of that now. What was the thing that got you very first started? How did you first get started in acting?
Well, I used to just do music, right? I was a rapper, and then I got together with one of my friends. His name is Henry, and he suggested that I give acting a shot. So I started doing background work. And then I realized that I wanted to actually have lines. I wanted to actually speak. I wanted to be in the forefront. And so then I started auditioning for short films and student films. And then when I started booking those roles, then I started booking feature film roles and TV roles and things of that nature and commercials. So it kind of just snowballed into this thing.
That's really cool. So as you look back at all the projects you've had a chance to work on, are there any that stand out as kind of like, oh, those are the best, these are my favorite?
Yeah, I worked on a feature film a few years ago in Eldred, New York, all the way upstate. And the name of the film is called The Widowers, and it was directed by Scott Chen, starring Richard Lovejoy and Ken Meister. And that film really taught me a lot about just being disciplined and being patient, because I had to audition for that film 4 times. And I never had to do that before. Normally you audition once, and then maybe there's a callback, and then you get the job, or you don't get the job. But they kept bringing me back for audition after audition after audition, and I just didn't understand why. But I guess that's how it works when you're auditioning for a project that's casting for a nationwide character. If you follow me, it was almost like they were looking for a specific person, and they set out this casting notice all over the world. And so I guess they wanted to make sure that they had the right person. So that taught me a lot about just being disciplined and being patient in the whole process.
Absolutely. As I'm scrolling through your IMDb, you got a lot of different acting roles here, and And the thing that I see, there's kind of a common theme as I'm going through. I see you were a police officer, and you were a coach, and then up here you're a detective, and then a lieutenant, and then a manager and a reporter. So a lot of, power positions. But then there's one on here. You were a homeless guy. I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I normally get cast as the detective or the cop or the security guard, almost like, I guess they see me as the blue-collar guy.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because I'm a bus driver, so it all makes sense. But I want to start playing characters where I'm the best friend or the husband or the father. So hopefully as I get older, they'll start to see me in that light. So we'll see.
Well, it's pretty exciting to see all the fun projects you've had a chance to be a part of. And the music, are you still doing music as well?
Well, I've done some music for a couple of documentaries. I did a song for Antoine Credwell in his documentary called You're Not Alone. And so I'm always doing music for film projects, but I don't just do music recreationally anymore. Normally I just do it if a producer's looking for a song or a director's looking for something, then I'll concoct something and throw something together. But otherwise, I don't really do the music thing anymore.
Again, visiting right now with Lester Greene. He is an actor and a producer and an author and a rapper and a bus driver, which not much longer on the bus driver thing here, but that's pretty darn cool. Now, the acting career, you said you're relocating to Atlanta. Is there something specific in Atlanta that's kind of drawing you in there for that?
Well, I think I've been in New York for a long time, and sometimes I think it's important to just shake things up a little. And so I'm at that point in my career where I'm going to try something different. And then Atlanta is the new hotspot. I feel like Atlanta's the new Hollywood. There's a lot going on there. Tyler Perry Studios is out there. And I've already made a lot of connections. I have a new agent out there, Kimberly Taylor. And I have a publicist out there, Steve Joyner and Isabel Nickerson. So I feel like I'm putting together a nice little network out there. So once I do move out there next month, I'll have something there to start with.
Well, I wish you the very best. I think you're doing really well. And I'm going to throw a link to your IMDb page and your website and also your book, Act Like You Love Yourself. It's available right now through Amazon. And again, congratulations on all the success you've had so far. I look forward to talking to you again soon, and you're going to be playing that leading role of the character that you want to play in the next one. That'll be a lot of fun.
Exactly. Thanks, John. I appreciate it.
Again, Lester Greene has been our guest today. He's got a book called Act Like You Love Yourself. It's available right now through Amazon. I've got a link to that in the show notes. Also, I've got a link to his IMDb page. You can scroll through and see there's a ton of projects this guy's been working on. He's a hardworking dude, and he's a very talented guy as well. I've got a link to all of the information in the show notes at johnandheidishow.com.
If you have a drug problem, don't let it ruin your life. You can be in treatment as soon as tomorrow, and you can start to get clean in as little as 7 days. Take the first step to get drugs out of your life at timeforrehab.com. Your insurance may cover everything, so you really have nothing to lose. Timeforrehab.com. Start your new life. You deserve it. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The Easter Island heads have torsos, too. Many people know the Easter Island figures. They're the big cement, or not cement, but rock. It's not cement. The big rock.
Those giant statues.
Yeah, that they stick up. But they have bodies, too. Archaeologists at UCLA developed the Easter Island Statue Project to dig deeper into the Pacific Island icons and explore what's below the surface. Full-body statues measure as much as 33 feet high. So that is a big old statue right there. I wonder how they did that and how they put them there. Just big questions.
Crazy.
Thanks for listening to today's Fun Fact.
The average household has thousands of dollars in credit card debt. If you find yourself in that position and you're making minimum payments, you could be in debt for a long time. Make sure you have the very best card with the very best rates at bettercreditcards.net. We work with different banks and different credit card companies who put out their best offers to earn your business. See if we can help you get a better credit card at bettercreditcards.net, bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net.
Now, fear this. Time for fun with phobias. Today's fun with phobias, hamartophobia. Hamartophobia. Hamarto phobia. Hamartophobia.
I have no idea.
The fear of sinning.
Oh.
The fear of sinning. Well, you know what?
So
we're all going to do
bizarre.
it. Nobody's perfect, so it's probably going to happen. But it just be less than afraid, because we all make mistakes. So there you go. And if you feel bad for what you did and you repent for what you did, it's all going to be good. You'll be fine. Got some weird news coming your way. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
If you can't have a drink without it leading to another drink and another drink, maybe it's time to get help. There are programs designed to help take alcohol out of your life for good at timeforrehab.com. Don't let a drinking problem spill over into other areas of your life. Get help to quit drinking and start living the life you truly deserve at timeforrehab.com. Your insurance may cover everything. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Now some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. Police say an unruly customer at a restaurant in Ohio pulled an iguana from under his shirt and swung it around and threw it at the manager. What is going on there? Painesville police were called to a Perkins at about noon. This is like 2 weeks ago, Tuesday. They apprehended a suspect a few blocks from the Perkins, about 30 miles northeast of Cleveland. They did not say what provoked the attack, but the 49-year-old was charged with disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, and animal cruelty. It's not nice. Not nice to treat your iguana that way.
Can you imagine that poor iguana?
Yeah, no kidding. Police say the lizard, whose name is Copper, was taken to the Humane Society to be checked by a veterinarian, and I believe everything is okay with Copper.
Wow.
Not everything okay with his owner, because who would swing an iguana at somebody?
Right?
Yeah, don't do that. But if you do, you might end up here.
I would like to know what
what
made that happen.
What? You don't have any more
I'm
syrup?
coming back with my iguana.
I don't know what happened.
That's it.
If you do that kind of thing, you might end up here in today's Weird News.
John and Heidi.
Now, your moment of duh, brought to you by FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. Florida man did not want his wife to leave the house, so he took matters into his own hands, and he decided, I've got this under control. He plowed the forks of his tractor into the side of her truck.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. This happened like a week ago Friday. Wife had safely escaped, and the deputy and the rest of the folks had to go to the scene and find this where the estranged couple resided. They found several items that were not cool, but the main thing was her truck was destroyed. Now, the husband hopped into his tractor, drove through a fence to go after her, and used a pallet fork on the front of a truck to hit the driver's rear side window, damaged her vehicle. You could see it was very, very clear, matched the statement that she had given the police. He was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and taken into custody. Don't do that. Things aren't working out. Somebody's leaving you. You don't chase them down with a tractor and bust their car up. That's not going to help. I don't know if you know that.
It's not like she's going to be like,
I'll come back to you now.
Yeah, I should
No.
probably stay.
No. If you do that, you'll end up here with today's moment of duh.
Before you know it, Christmas will be here. Are you ready? If you plan to use a credit card while shopping, make sure you have the very best credit card for you. It's free to click around and see what we can do for you at bettercreditcards.net. We have options from many different banks and different credit card companies who put out their best offers to earn your business. See if we can help you get a better credit card at bettercreditcards.net. Bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net.
Now, these three things, Heidi, tell me, what do these three things have in common? I don't think you'll get this right because I would have never known this,
All
but
right.
maybe you do.
Do you have to add a word?
No.
No, okay.
I'll do it here. Corn, crust, powder. I wouldn't know this. Corn, crust, powder.
I don't know.
They're all terms for snow. I've never heard those terms.
Oh.
Got a lot of corn out there. Gonna have to go shovel the corn. I've never heard that.
I've never
crust?
heard that.
I've never heard crust. Powder I've heard. Like if you're
Powder
gonna go
snow,
skiing.
yeah.
Got some good powder
Yeah,
on me.
I
I've
would
never
have
heard the others.
never gotten that
Apparently I need to get out more. Thanks for listening to these three things.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. Comes your way courtesy of ripitgloves.com, which you're going to be hearing more about this month. Awesome people at that company, and we're super excited to be working with them. Ripit, R-I-P-I-T, ripitgloves.com. Here's the headline, Heidi. Proud father stands up for daughter with Down syndrome.
Okay.
So this young man has a daughter who has Down syndrome, and there were some strangers and what people call internet trolls who were mocking this young girl. So he tweeted a video of his daughter. She's 16, and she was dancing at a soccer game. And she's adorable.
Right.
And some Twitter trolls started being really mean. And so this guy came to the rescue and said, you know what, I'm going to actually stand up for my daughter. And a lot of other people stood up for the daughter as well. So the good news is, you know, these people who were being mean, I don't think anybody thought, wow, you guys are so cool. I mean, that was so awesome of you. I mean, picking on this young lady. So you can read all of the different comments. There's a ton of them here, and I wish I had time to get to them, but I don't. I do have a link to them. He's received more than 9,000 messages. 99% of them are very, very, very positive.
Well, of course they would be. What kind of a person goes out of their way to destroy a young child
16-year-old
with Down
girl.
syndrome?
Yeah. And he says, I was at rock bottom Saturday night, and I felt so much better now. That can only be a positive thing. So when this first happened, he was feeling really bad. She's like, why are people,
That's
should I
awful.
not have posted that video? But it was adorable. And it is adorable. And his daughter's adorable. And I just thought, who in the world would do that? Well, if you go on Twitter, you'll see. Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show is where I've got a link. And I've got it in the show notes as well at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday.